Did I tell you about the Uber driver I met?
Oh, God.
No.
Let me tell you, Israel.
Oh, my goodness.
He's already, we're like 1 second in, he's already giving me the, another story.
Well,
We've digressed 15 times.
They don't ever know what we're getting with us.
I'm telling you.
It's a brand new day. Hey. Wake up every morning and say, it's a brand new day.
Hey. Welcome back, everybody.
What's up?
My name is Callie.
Okay, Israel, welcome back to the show.
Hey.
This is going to be the butt end of the joke for the whole episode now.
I'm going to change my greeting from now on in life. I'm going to be like that to everybody. Hey.
That's how it's sign out the episode.
fairness,
So
that's like
I got to keep it going.
That's like throwback, like Fat Albert, right?
Yeah, it is.
Hey. That's right.
We're doing that now?
Hey, you said it.
I don't know. Israel called
Together we
it.
are never met a stranger.
You said it.
I like that. Callie's chipper. Soft talker, but chipper.
Soft talker. It's okay. We got mics for that. We got all that kind of
When
stuff.
I was a DJ, I was like this. What's up, everybody? You know? You have your
You might have
thing.
to bring it back.
I'm telling you, this is something. Everybody has a crutch. Everybody has a
That is true.
crutch.
Yeah.
Mine is a peace sign. What is yours?
Well, you also have words that are a crutch. You probably don't know you do, but when your DJ
Like,
gets pointed
really?
out,
I hate like. I start counting.
like
I'm probably a person.
a numb person.
Yeah.
So I worked at my first radio station. I was doing mornings. One of the DJs said, They made her go to a hypnotist to try to stop saying,
That's
what? Explain this.
Because you are supposed to, when you're a DJ, you're supposed to be able to talk without
Fillers.
crutches.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Because crutches are annoying and
Super.
you don't know that you're doing or using the crutches. My crutch was,
Yeah.
use it.
She still uses it.
I still use
You know?
it. The other thing that they tried to get me to stop doing was laugh at my own jokes. But that's never going to happen because
Also
I'm so
true.
funny. Right. They think that if you are a DJ and you're supposed to be funny and everybody else that's listening is laughing,
Yes.
Yes.
well, I can't hear those people. How do I know? So
It's
I
kind of
always
comedian,
laugh,
you know?
Always. People like that I laugh, though. It kind of starts a little, you laugh and then one person's laughing and then 100,000 people are laughing. Anyway,
That's
there's
true.
a
I see that.
DJ.
I'm trying to figure out how that works because they're not all listening in the same room.
No, they're not, but they don't have to be. If one person's
laugh
listening
track.
in the car and they start laughing, there's 5 other people in the
Okay.
car, they
I'll
start
do that. I'll
laughing.
give you that one.
You know
I'll
what
give you
I'm
that
saying?
Yeah.
Now, I never got over the crutch. However, I was smart enough to roll it. Like, I would just keep talking like, it's a brand new day, blah, blah, blah. If you just go,
You leave it hanging out there.
right. Or,
Like,
now,
Again, like is the one that just
Really?
sets me over the edge.
yes.
like makes me want to punch you and go to jail in Beverly Hills because it sounds like a Valley girl.
Oh, God.
So we had a work kind of conference, and the keynote motivational speaker there, he used like all the time to the point where I think a coworker looked at me and said, "We could really turn this into a drinking game." I said, "If you weren't at work, I'm all for
Yes.
it."
Yeah. Or like when
Yes.
you go
It
to
was
baby
just-
shower and you can't say baby. Otherwise, you lose
Right.
that game. Like
Yeah.
that.
So you think your crutch is What was your crutch?
I think mine is a like. Because
Is
I did,
like?
in the last episode that I was watching, I did hear a lot of like.
I see.
So when you become,
No, it's fine.
when you realize your crutch, then you hear yourself saying it all the time. And then you annoy yourself. And anyway, this
I
girl
would say that.
said, she was really cute, and, but they went back in those days, you couldn't have crutches and they would not let you. You would have they'd put your tape in
Yep.
and then they'd be like,
You know?
and you'd be like, I'm trying not to laugh at my own jokes, Anyway, so they sent her to a hypnotist to hypnotize her to not say
Oh, man.
Could you not longer?
What happened?
I'm saying, could you no longer say umbrella, umpire?
She could say
Cerebellum.
rella, but not
Does all fall in the vocabulary at that point?
So it did not work.
I digress.
Well, first of all, I don't know if hypnosis works for everyone. I think you have to have your mind open.
Have you ever done it?
susceptible to yes.
I've seen it.
I haven't done it either.
I did. So I've been hypnotized many times. Sometimes I faked it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, because
Wait,
I
why?
was getting
Like,
paid.
what were you going for?
Yeah.
Because I was, it was to lose weight or stop some bad habit, and they were paying me to endorse the product. So I'd be like, I will not. Then as soon as I left, I got a donut. But anyway, so my program director would be, you have to stop saying, And I was like, don't send me to a hypnotist. I am mind over matter. I'm strong enough to do it myself. So I went to my boss and complained about that guy and got him fired.
Well, there you go.
Oh my goodness.
There were many other things,
We
Anyway,
gotta take notes on that. She might fire us. Like,
if you can't go, if you can't go through, you find a way. Around, up, over, under.
yeah.
So the poor girl, I don't know what ended up happening to her. Oh, I do, actually. This was KCLQ days. Classic Rock 107.5. That's a good station. She ended up going back to school. She was very young. And then, I was very young, but I didn't go back to school. And then she became a realtor.
Okay.
Okay. So she could say,
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't matter.
Come in here. There's a nice kitchen. And, oh, wow, look at the, you know what I mean?
Did she leave because they made her go to a hypnotist, or she just left on her own?
They left because she left because they fired her.
Oh, got
But
it.
they fired her because somebody who is in this room who shall remain nameless got her fired?
Me? No.
Oh.
I was trying to protect her. I got the guy that fired her.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure I
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
this work. Okay,
I took her to the side and said, you're stronger than this. You can do it. You can mind over. Just put it in your mind. You won't even have to think of it ever again. I know. Do this. Think of it as a cuss word. And you would never say a cuss word on the air, except unless you're me.
Oh, that's crazy. Back in the day, you couldn't cuss.
You couldn't,
Yeah.
I remember
How times have changed,
Oh my God. You look at TV today and it's just like.
Well, remember my
movies,
story.
was
TV
shocked. My mom was
shows.
shocked.
Things that start out and you're like, wow, we
But
just
do you
started
remember
the
my
episode.
story? My first on the live broadcast
Yes.
from the farm show?
Yes.
Farm shit?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm surprised I didn't get fired many, many times. However, I said, you can do it. You can do it. And you know what happened? She said it more.
Yep.
I said, I can't help
All
it.
right. There you go.
It was like
I
a
tried.
Bridget
I tried.
Jones diary moment.
Yeah. So, crutches. Now, I have noticed in watching the shows that I don't enunciate as clearly as I used to. Maybe the accident, that happens. I don't like it. I watch all the time Dateline, and there's a guy on Dateline that just slurs.
The way these transitions.
He slurs his words. It's like he's drunk. I'm like, how are you a reporter making those big money bucks? Anyway, I digress. Okay.
So
Let's talk about
we
it.
have digressed
God,
and
so
gone
much.
through and over.
Did you learn anything?
Oh. Never met a stranger. Did you say never met a stranger?
I didn't even
or
get
did you
to.
just
We didn't even get to the point. We dove right in.
Yes,
So-
I digress.
I digress.
I
Okay,
digress.
I think we've all introduced ourselves, but it is in fact Callie.
Yes.
It's Never Met a Stranger.
Yes, and
It's never a
together we are.
stranger.
Ooh, that would be a good movie.
And-
Digression.
Oh, probably. And-
Do they get hypnotized?
No, they never make it to the end. I promise you. They always
That's a
digress.
U-turn.
No, the whole thing
they-
is they start somewhere and they end up somewhere else completely. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's no
Oh
plot.
my God.
I
There's no
digress.
plot. We always just keep on taking a pivot.
But speaking of that,
Pivot.
we do have a pivot where
pivot? I like
we
it.
have a pivot because we're going to highlight a business.
That's right.
Yay.
Overdressed. They
Right.
are a Black-owned business and a veteran-owned business. So their backstory is
Look at Israel.
I can't.
Laughing.
what?
I can't say it for the pod people. I'm
Oh
not gonna
my
do it.
God.
Just because I'm laughing because I'm the designated model to black-owned business.
Oh,
I'm trying to think
there
if
you
that
go.
was like a connection, but we're not gonna
Listen,
go there.
Now,
I mean,
would you have
it
said
looks
black
like-
owned if Israel wasn't sitting here?
I should say that.
I
yes,
think she would have.
I gotta
then.
She
highlight
would've
that.
said
That
it.
is
Get
an
off.
important
I'm just trying to figure out why.
People look specifically for that.
First of all, I'm very, very happy. You guys understand this. I'm a big guy. That they actually had a shirt that fit.
That's what I'm saying.
phenomenal.
Does it feel good too?
Yeah, it feels good to me.
I
like it.
love
I like
that
like,
idea.
and what I love is it's like it's overdressed as a brand, but I could feel like it's like a plain words because it's very, very
It
it's like
is.
simple, classic.
That's
It's
what
like-
I'm
It's my
saying.
kind of vibe.
Yeah.
but I'm trying to figure out why I'm the only one wearing the merch.
Right? I tried to
That's
figure
what
that
I'm
out
trying
too.
They're
to
trying
figure
to
out.
highlight their new
That's what I'm trying to
collection
figure out.
right here.
It was the whole, guys, we're gonna get things
Okay, I'll tell you
outside,
why.
we're gonna rock it, and then all of a sudden, I'm the only one up here. I'm like, all
I'll
right,
tell you why.
let's see how
Because
we're doing
Callie
this.
came
digress.
home yesterday. Callie came home yesterday, and she had the shoe,
Uh-huh.
and she said they only had. I don't know, but Israel, and then I'll wear that, and I'm like, Well,
She
that's
felt
okay.
so left out.
That's okay. She didn't want me to feel left out.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I said,
They're in the middle of their newest
said-
collection. So
No,
I
I'm
said,
like the reverse left out. Like I'm the only one in full support.
You
know
get to
what?
keep
I'm okay
yours.
with that. You have to keep yours.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this. You know,
I
I
said
like
we
it.
could
I
switch
support
off every 15 minutes.
Overdressed. Thank you so much. I'm
I
rocking
got
it.
my
Yes.
bling. If there ain't another thing, if you ain't got that bling.
Hey,
I don't know.
there you go.
It is a song.
Is it a song or you made a jingle?
No, it's a song, but it's if it ain't got that zing, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that zing. Doot up, doot up.
if there's not an episode where we're
I'm
not
saying,
singing.
I
I don't
need
know.
somebody to find that song because I've never.
It's old. I'll find it. But listen,
No phones.
whoa, listen, program director, I can get you fired. A better man
you
than
know?
I mean,
That's your correction mean.
Right.
You say I mean.
you. Anyway, you ain't got that zing song.
we're doing it.
there
We're
we
doing
go.
it.
We're really looking this up right now.
We're really doing it.
You'll never forget it.
We're
So
committed.
now, here, I'm going to
shade
keep
looking?
talking while I'm using
No,
my
how about
phone.
this? You talk more about Overdressed while we're looking for this because I want to know. So it says black
Okay.
owned.
Yes. So
Wait. Oh, there's a commercial. Go ahead. No, wait. It's over. 1 minute. 1 second. Okay, skip.
The Duke and Ella. So let's have a
Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, I've heard this song.
Okay. Okay.
When was that made?
I know it's in black and white.
Roll with it.
Yeah.
Roll with it.
Was it-
All right, now I'll put my phone away. Okay, continue.
So now no one's getting fired. Okay.
Detour.
Overdressed.
U-turn. Here we go. Yeah. So
Did she say U-turn?
I
We know you don't
did.
believe in U-turns. That's what we're going to say it.
I
That's,
have to
that's gonna
say
be
it.
the
That's
new
wrong.
digress.
Thank you.
I U-turn, and we're going to move on.
Pivot.
I believe in forward momentum.
Okay.
I believe in forward momentum. If you U-turn, you're going back.
No, you're always going forward. You just reverse your train and stop.
Anyway, the
Okay.
point
But
is
you
this.
know-
I'm not against U-turns. I'm against OnStar.
Okay.
What about in an Uber?
Did I tell you about the Uber driver I met?
Oh, God.
No.
Let me tell you, Israel.
Oh my goodness.
He is already, we're like 1 second in, he's already giving me the another story.
Because
Well, I mean, this-
we've digressed 15 times.
They don't ever know what we're getting with us.
I'm telling you, a movie, Digression.
Oh, God.
Featuring Never Met a
let's
Stranger.
Let's pause because I want to hear the Uber story because I really do. But I really want to make sure we give Overdressed their
Yes,
due.
exactly.
Yes.
I really, really
And
do.
we got to recap the challenge.
And yes, we do. So let's knock it back. So Callie, back to
Yes.
you for the 5th time.
So, so they are also veteran owned, right?
Okay.
And so I kind of relate to this story because I also am a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And you have what's called an ETS date, which is a date we're getting out of the military. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now your identity as a soldier is a soldier,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're getting out and you're starting over, you're like, well, what the heck do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
So Mo, the owner of this company,
Shout out to Mo.
yes.
Shout out to
Mo. He was in that very position. And he was like, I got to figure out something that I like to do. And what am I going to do next?
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things was this clothing brand.
Okay.
I love it.
So that's how he started.
One Mo time. Shout out to Mo.
Hey.
Yeah. I was just going to say this, though. We can talk about this. Connects to the Uber. Purpose-driven life. Intentional living. But what I was going to say is I love that, you're helping out your fellow, military. What are they
yeah.
called? Brothers in Arms? I don't know.
Veterans, just
Veterans,
service
yeah.
members.
Right.
Everyone.
Right.
Family, honestly.
I'm surprised. Callie Hoffman, man, she is a go-getter. She got the cups, she got the shirts, helping out, but they're really like helping out the small businesses that have a good backstory.
Yeah.
That's the point of Never Met a Stranger. There are
Exactly.
no strangers,
Just friends we
Only
haven't met yet.
friends.
just friends we haven't met
Agreed.
yet. That's how I started my conversation with the Uber driver.
Which we will get to after
This
Challenger
break.
Cap.
Oh, after somebody brings me a donut. I'm just kidding.
We're looking for Ike. It's an inside joke. Sorry.
Him and Annette are hanging out.
Nobody brought donuts.
No one. In all fairness, nobody asked to bring donuts. No one said.
Nobody
that-
volunteered.
Is
I
what you
mean-
meant to say.
I mean-
Because she asked.
No. She said Ike should bring donuts.
Oh.
We don't know what Ike.
Yeah.
But, so here's what happens. I always do this. I go, oh, this is a perfect meme. I stick it in the text, and then it has somebody's personal name on it. And my
So, yeah.
son, happy birthday, Lewis.
No.
That's not my name.
It's a running joke in the family now. My niece and nephew, they send him happy birthday, Lewis, all the time.
Yes.
Oh God.
So anyway, I said, don't forget the donuts, Ike. In the meme.
And I'm like, okay, cool.
Everybody thought Ike was bringing donuts.
Ike is bringing
I'm
donuts.
saying apparently Ike joined the Signal chat, and next thing you know, you got some information.
Yeah,
But it works. So again, challenge recap. What was the challenge last week, people? Let's bring it back.
Just pay a compliment. Pay somebody a compliment. Smile at them. Be friendly. It's very.
It's an opener.
It's small things. Small things turn into big things.
Yes.
You know, and if you feel overwhelmed and you want to be part of, you know, what we're trying to do, and that is be the good news in a bad news world, but you feel like, I don't know how to do it. I'm too shy. I'm too busy. I'm too whatever. It's just one small gesture. That's where it starts, right?
I like it.
Hey, your hair looks good today. You know, or like I always say, I always find some, Callie knows, because when we go to Starbucks, I always find one compliment for the Starbucks person.
Every time.
Yeah.
And it changes their whole mood. Their whole
Quickly.
They go from like, here's your
I will say
coffee to,
that.
oh my gosh, you made me feel so good.
Honestly, you know, we joke and say like, "Oh my God, I feel seen," but that's really a thing.
Yeah.
that's really, really a thing. Because how often have you said someone just walked up and said, hey, I just gotta say, man, I really like the shoes, or like,
Yeah.
like I don't know what you got going on, but like the shirt is really nice today. Thank you for the shirt. But yeah, like just small things like that. You could see that person feel more confident in themselves in that moment.
Immediately.
Yes.
For sure.
So I have done this because I honestly believe in it. I believe that I know how I feel if somebody says, which is rare these days because I only hang out with dogs. They need to step up their games. But, you know, when I was out in the workforce before the car accident and somebody said, oh, my God, you know, you look so, these days, young would be a good adjective. Oh, my God, you look so young today. I'd be like, really?
Yep.
But I just have a firm belief that wait staff or people who work the drive-thrus or, you know, it's not super easy. You could be having a terrible day and you're still expected to be like, hi.
I know,
welcome to
right?
McDonald's,"
Customer
you know
service
what I mean?
voice. Yes.
And so if I think their voice sounds friendly, I say that. Oh my gosh, when we get to, you have the friendliest voice. I just couldn't wait to see you because, you know, or man, your brows are spot on. Or you have a great smile.
I
Beautiful
don't think I
Big
could pull
fingers
off the
onto it.
brows.
You have good brows.
Yeah.
I appreciate
you
it.
do,
but
and it sucks. Like women have to like draw theirs on and like get their eyelashes done.
Now, here's
Men
Sorry?
naturally have that. It's
Sorry.
not
Here's a
fun.
little trick. If you go into a popular bar, restaurant, whatever, and tons of people, just walk up, and if it's a girl, you say, okay, I know this is a big, huge line, but I just walked up here because your brows are spot on.
Yep.
Your eyelashes, man, you pop your eye. Whatever it is, they get you in.
Okay.
Noted.
I didn't know brows was like a compliment.
Brows for a girl is a big deal.
I
It
mean,
is.
I said
Lashes
brows.
and
okay,
right?
but what is it for a guy? Do you say like, "Oh my God, sir, I just want you to know you look exceptionally tall today"? Like, I don't like what is like.
I like your shirt. I like your shoes.
How about this? Your stash is coming in nicely.
That's almost offensive because I'm like,
I know, it is.
do I look like a pubescent teenage boy, like facial situation going on here?
I'm just trying to find something.
It looks very filled in today.
I don't know. Your baritone is really baritoning today. I don't know what you do. Like,
You do. Like, what do I say to you all the time? Oh my gosh, son, you look so handsome.
oh, I appreciate
you
that.
do.
But yeah.
How about we ask you, like, what would you want somebody to tell you that would change your day? I'm taking notes because I talked to
I
God.
heard you talking for 5 minutes. You didn't say
And I'm not thinking about it. So maybe is not my crutch. We're gonna
No.
figure this
right.
out.
So
Yours is I mean. Yours is I mean.
You guys will have to tell me in the comments because I really don't know at this point. See, that's the thing. I think I'm falling back on it. But
Comment section's going to be like,
what do I think I would want to hear?
you do say
I do say now I'm thinking about it. I hate
I'm
myself.
sorry I brought it up. Concuss.
I don't even want to talk
We're gonna
anymore.
let that
So
go.
for records, I'm gonna digress because
Ooh,
we're just doing
U-turn.
that.
Digression.
purple balloon.
No, I can't. I have yet to listen to one of the podcasts. We talked about this off camera because I hate the way
listen to it
I
over
hate
and
the way
over.
I
Pull the
sound.
Dinsdale and then watch his own movie.
I hate the way I sound over the radio, over
a
over
brand
media.
new
So
day.
it's fine. So I trust you guys to tell me what I'm sounding. So you guys really do need to tell me if I'm saying anything weird because
But he won't watch it
I'm not
to
gonna, I'm
know.
not gonna find out. I may
He won't
one
read the
day
comments.
develop the courage to do so. I'll read the comments, but right now, Anywho, coming back full circle. What as a dude, as a
I like
male?
anywho.
Yes.
Did you hear him say
Anywho.
Anywho.
Did I
Well-
tell you about my program director who spoke Spanish?
Yes.
And she would say, anywho.
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 Yeah.
It was so
I
cute.
love that.
I got
Okay,
it.
okay. Anywho.
So, anywho, as a male, you guys are laughing. There's two dudes behind the camera right now.
We should ask them,
I want to
too.
know. I want to know. Okay, because I have my own personal beliefs about what
Yeah.
I would want to hear, and I don't know. I get used to people always comment on my height. I'm 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think of that as being.
That's
like,
not a compliment.
I don't think that's a compliment.
That's
It's just-
genetic.
It's like genetic.
Yeah.
This is a fact of life, right? I can't help being
I would
tall.
say,
tell
wow,
short
you are
people that.
sharply dressed today. You know, or I don't know, like you have the kindest eyes.
It could
'Cause
be how
really
you
do.
say it too, you know?
Okay.
Oh, you are dressed
I think
good
what it boils
today.
down to is, again, it's a person, right? And if you're talking about going up to a stranger,
Yeah.
then you are going to give them a compliment on things that you honestly, genuinely like.
Right.
True.
But in terms of trying to give a compliment that's going to be most meaningful to that person, you need to know them. I know for a fact that Callie puts effort into her appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Effort and not, right? She's naturally beautiful.
Wait, you think I don't?
Thank you.
That's messed up.
I'm saying,
Here's what I'll say. Callie
You
puts
got
effort in
singled
my
out.
appearance.
go.
We all three got singled out at some point in
All right,
this.
it works.
So-
but again, I don't mind. I'm like, Callie, your hair is looking very beautiful today. Because I know
Yes.
that you actually take time and you really value your hair looking nice.
And then that'll make me
That's
want to
fine.
do it again
Exactly.
because you noticed it. Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Okay, so here's what I will say about that. It doesn't. I mean, every single compliment I give, I don't
Yes.
give them frivolously. They're not
They're meaningful.
well thought out because I only have seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just something notable. Now, you know the movie Liar Liar with Jim
Yes.
Carrey, and
Yes.
the girl with the crazy like hair, you know, comes in and she's like, "I got my hair done. What do you think?" And he's like, "Interesting" or something. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Because you're taught, I was taught, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say
Don't say anything
anything.
at all.
Right.
But do you go through your life without anything to say? Find something. The smallest detail, you know, you have a nice smile, Israel. It makes me smile. I'm legitimately complimenting you because I feel that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if I'm going through the drive-through and the girl comes through the window and she smiles and her brows are point and,
Yeah.
you know, I'll just be like, sometimes they have the most beautiful eyes. Back in COVID, when people wore masks, that was my go-to compliment because not everybody
see
has
it.
beautiful eyes.
Wait, so how do you do it without sounding like you're picking somebody up or it being creepy?
That's,
Well,
I think
You know what
very-
I mean?
No,
Like,
but
'cause
it's-
what if somebody goes out
That's
there
legit,
and we're
that's
telling them to
legit.
try this, but then it doesn't come off right?
It's
Well,
about
I
the-
can do it 'cause I'm old.
I would say it's about
Not
the
picking
intent,
anybody
right?
up.
I think as long as you're not trying to pick up,
Your intention behind it.
If I could say, "Oh, you have nice brows." Like, it's weird. Like, but it's like, "Oh my god, your brows are really, really nice." See, yeah, you're laughing because you know
see?
it sounds
Well,
creepy,
you can't
right?
say
It
that
sounds-
because you're not a girl.
exactly a dude saying, "Oh my god, I want you to know your brows are on
But you
point."
can say you have a
that's
beautiful. You can say this. You have a beautiful smile.
Yes.
Did you have braces? No.
weird. No, see, don't do that.
Yes, I did. You notice?
Even if it's like, I'm sure you get this all the time, but your smile made my day. You seem
Yeah.
genuinely happy, and I'm going to take that with me.
Or, you know, sometimes it's not even an attribute. Sometimes it is just, man, you have such a positive vibe. I really love it.
Yeah.
Yes, I could do with that.
Your
But again,
energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you having your aura. You know, you feel positive, and I just want to say thank you. I've done that many times. Callie
Yeah.
knows. I
Yeah.
can compliment anybody, anytime, any place.
And again, it's very, very simple. And again, coming full circle, it does not take a lot. We feel awkward doing it sometimes,
Yep.
giving compliments, just because we don't want to sound stupid, or like you said, I don't want to sound like I'm coming on to you
Right.
or anything along those lines. But taking the 3 seconds out of your day to point out something in somebody else that will make them feel better for the rest of their day about themselves,
Yeah.
that's impactful, right? That's really,
You
really
just boosted
impactful.
their confidence.
very, very easily.
Yes.
And it costs you
Couple
nothing.
words.
Costs you nothing.
Exactly.
So the whole theme of our show started as Never Met a Stranger because Callie's lived with me her whole life, and I have just talked to everybody all
You
the
have
time.
never met a stranger.
Her whole life, my whole life, my dad was like that.
Mm-hmm.
He would walk down the street and strangers would wave because he looked like a nice guy. He was a nice guy, but he could talk to anybody. And when he passed, I was only 18. But the whole town went. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
And not because he was anyone or had money or prestige, but because he was genuine and nice. He was just a nice person. And he legitimately cared about other people, and he exuded that. You could feel that.
Right.
And I have always wanted to emulate that, to be more like him. So I just started when I was young. I tell my kids this because Callie was very shy. I mean, she was, what is it called?
Wouldn't know it
Painfully shy.
now. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And Jordan was, well, so he was bullied a lot. Yeah, he was. He was very small.
Oh, you would never know it.
Right.
You would never
He's
know
my
it.
little big
Right.
brother.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
He is not
Exactly.
little, but you know, he had ADHD and he had to take medication and things. And anyway, he was very small. He got picked on a lot, and so I would tell, and the kids would come on, I don't need friends, and I would be like, listen, all you have to do is target one person, pay him a compliment, say, man, your shoes are cool, or you're so pretty. You know what I told Callie that she immediately went out and did. Now she was shy, but she was a really great person about, oh, okay, I'm going to try that. She always did. And it works because people want to be seen, but they also want to feel good about themselves. And if you notice a person and you take the time and the effort to point that out, it will endear you to that person. You will make friends. Making friends is easy.
It really is.
So now my son, he never took any of my suggestions. And so I had to have Nicole Giordano. Am I saying that right? Anyway, Nicole. Shout out to Nicole. I told her that I was having, she was the host on CW. And she's so cute.
Oh, yeah.
And her husband, Nick, so handsome. And together they made beautiful
They're
kids.
still together? I think so, right?
Nicole Giordano. Yeah, yes. Anyway, she said, we'll go to the school. She went to the school. I got a bunch of pizza, and she walked into the classroom, and all the kids went, Nicole. And she talked to them all, and she made such a big deal out of Jordan, and I'll forever be grateful because it changed his life. He then became
The cool guy.
Yeah.
All right. There you
Yeah,
go.
I said I was a DJ and still am. How come I'm not? It's not cool to
It's
me.
because you can see your face like back in the day. Like it's just over the air, you know? She was on TV.
I definitely
That's
was
true.
not as cute as Nicole either. That
Stop
was cute.
it.
She's still cute. Anyway,
She is, yeah.
Thank you, Nicole. So I tried to help my kids that way, but then for me, it's just a lifestyle. Like we're talking about positivity,
You're modeling it though too for your kids. You know?
being the good news in a bad news world, and you model it. You are the role model. You know, it's like that. Do what I say, not what I do. But I didn't live like that because I had parents that were great role models.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing because at this time my mom is staying with me for just a little bit, and we haven't lived together since I was 18, 17 years old. So it's been almost 2 decades, and I'm laughing because my mom is now getting to witness me as an adult, and she's realizing habits and tendencies that I have that I directly inherited from her. I might add. That she does not remember actually trying to teach me. And the saying is more is caught than taught. And she's living it now. It's like,
Right.
It's like, I don't remember telling you to do this, but you're this way now. And I wish you would be a little bit. I said, Mom, all right, Pot, you're calling the kettle black.
Right.
You know?
Come on now. Like, this is you. I am you. You cannot get mad at me for things that you did my entire childhood.
Now, isn't this amazing? So I went in an Uber
Yeah.
Okay.
to Stockton.
Okay.
Okay, now I have a spinal stimulator implant in my body for the rest of my life. I know it sounds weird, but I have a lot of pain in my hands. So they cut my spine open, attach wires. And
It's helpful.
technology is great, right?
Yeah.
Because it sends little shocks or whatever to my spine, which takes my brain, or sends it on a detour from the pain.
Yeah.
So, but you can't have an MRI at a regular place anymore because you have an implant.
Yes.
So I got to go to
Yep.
Stockton. So I took an Uber to Stockton. And now most people are like, you're going to have to ride in an Uber for 2.5 hours and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, let me just tell you, as we all know, I can fill up 2.5 hours without a crutch. But on the way there, the guy was a low talker.
Like me.
He
Very
was
soft.
a very soft, low talker.
Okay.
And so he was trying to talk, and then I'm like, so I was trying to lean forward, and then I kept saying, I'm sorry, and I hate to do that. So I said, I don't hear well. I apologize. It is what it is. And so he said, it's okay. I'll put the music on, which he did. And so for the whole time, we listened to music, and it was fun. But on the way back, I got into so a series of cancellations, drivers who said they would bring me back, but they would cancel. Then I'd be standing there. Something like 35 minutes later, a guy shows up. And he's young. He's 28, as I found out later. And I said, my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. And he, I shouldn't probably start things off like that because they're kind of like,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, good. And I could hear he had an accent. And I got in the car, and then we're kind of rolling, and they always put the address in. And he says, oh, Madera's by, south? And I said, yeah. And he says, oh, well, I was thinking it was by San Francisco. That's why I took the job. And I said, no, really? And he said, well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't put you out in the street. I'll take you home. And I said, sweet.
Only 2 hours later. It's fine.
So I decided right then that I was going to get to know him because now
Make it worth his while.
That reminds me of a great story from the book, which I'll tell later, but it's the moment test. And I'll just preface this Uber ride with that. Now, I could have gotten in the Uber as Callie, and I could have said, I don't hear well. Can you just put the music up? Because I was tired.
Yeah.
You ride an Uber for 2 hours, and you have MRIs, and it's painful, and, But that moment, that opportunity came up where I could talk to him and get to know him.
Yeah.
Or I could say, I don't hear it very well, right? And I chose to talk to him. Because I felt inside that this was my moment. This was going to be a good decision.
Okay.
Now, whether it was, did you see that? That was because it just occurred to me. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be great for me. Maybe it was supposed to be great for him.
Yeah.
So the moment test, take the high road, be the better person, say a kind thing instead of a mean thing.
You have that moment.
It's the moment test. Whether you pass the test or you don't is completely up to you. But I always cognizantly think about moments and when they arise and if I can pass that test. So I said, well, blah, blah, blah. And he had a shiny, purple jacket on.
Ooh.
His name was Najib.
Love it.
And I said, well, where are you from? And he said, Afghanistan.
Okay.
And I said, oh, my daughter was in Afghanistan. And he immediately was kind of like, oh, with the military. Now, imagine being from Afghanistan.
Right.
And I said, well, she said that actually parts of the country were really beautiful, and it was just exceptionally hot sometimes and very cold sometimes. And he laughed, and it broke the ice. And he said, yeah, depending on where you live. And I said, here's what I know, Najib. There's not one place on this earth that is all good. Every place you'll ever go or have ever been, there's
true.
good and bad.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a ton of good in Afghanistan, and your family lives there, so that's good right there. And so he told me a story. He left Afghanistan with his wife, and they haven't been married long, to come to the United States, left his parents, grandparents,
Everything
siblings,
he knew.
whole family.
Everything.
He's here by himself.
Oh, wow.
He came here because he wanted a better life.
Yeah.
And he had the courage to do that. And he's now in his final year of college, computer science major, and he's an Uber driver part-time.
Cool.
It was cool.
Oh.
And then I found out that he's having a son in July, and they're naming him
That's so
Benjamin.
close.
So I immediately acted like I knew them, his wife, little Benny.
Little Benny.
Became
call
part of
me
the
out.
family. Yes.
And
This is
it
how it
cracked him up.
always
It cracked him
works.
up, right?
Man.
So I, the whole time, talked to him with good advice about how to raise kids and how you should buy all your baby stuff used. Because, listen,
Growing out of it so quick.
well,
For real.
right. Babies don't use
wear it
their
one
stuff.
time
Babies
and
don't
then-
even wear their clothes more than
You
once.
keep changing them in the
know?
same outfit.
Yeah.
and-
And so it was all good words of wisdom. But then I said, here's what you need to do. And I'm going to just tell you this. You need to live intentionally. And he said, what does that mean? And I said, you need to live intentionally. Mm-hmm. It starts with a purpose-driven life. What is your purpose?
Yes.
What is your goal? What do you believe in? You know, if you have not sat down and established those things, how do you know who you are? If you have not said, I believe in this, this is my work ethic, this is my religion, this is my goal in life, this is how I want to raise my family. If you have not done that, you are doing yourself a disservice because how do you know where you need to go if you don't know where you are?
Agreed.
Yep.
Right?
Agreed.
And under those things are, well, the way I work it is improvement. So financially, I was telling him, this is what you need to do. I spent a lot of time with homeless people when I was trying to help them for the 2 years I was meeting strangers and writing this book. I spent time with homeless families because I wanted to help them.
Yeah.
And I felt like kids don't understand, you know, and they would tell you the old saying, everyone is one paycheck away from being homeless. It was not because they were addicted it was because they lost their job or they fell in financial hard times or a recession and rent's too high and there's no place to rent and it's COVID, whatever it is. And I said, so as hard as it is, your goal needs to be to pay every major bill, mortgage, rent, car, one payment ahead, minimum. You need to live that way. It sucks. You have to get the money up to do that second payment. But once you establish that, you have the luxury of knowing that you have, regardless of what happens
buffer.
to you, you have a buffer.
A buffer. Yeah.
Plus,
That would
I
be
told him
me.
about the great benefit of paying ahead. I told him, set out a budget and do it with your wife. So she's on the same page. This is your budget? Now, at the end of that, you say, here's where we're going to shave off $50. We're going to eat out less. We're going to blah, blah, blah. And he goes, why do I need to do that? And I said, because you need to take that $50 and pay extra on your car payment or whatever's high interest bearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pay down the principal. You'll thank me. You'll find me. You'll thank me. And then I said, as soon as your baby's born, buy a whole life insurance policy. Because whole life, not term. Term is renting. Whole life is owning.
Yes. Do you have that?
I have 2 insurance policies.
On the baby?
No, on myself.
Why don't you have one on Mia?
Because that's oddly morbid to me.
It seems like
It's
it.
morbid
Just
to me.
wait.
But you're
I
wrong.
Just wait.
I just
Now, here's what I'll
Yeah.
tell you. I'm a licensed insurance agent because I believe in Plan B. Plan A.
I think that there's a lot of single people there. Plan B.
Plan A. Plan A is doing. Shut up, Israel. That's your compliment for the day. Okay. Plan A is doing what you love. And what I loved was radio. But what if radio went sideways? What if there was no more radio? I would be one paycheck away from being homeless. And so you have to have a plan B. This is what I tell the kids. Look on Indeed. Back then it was in the newspaper. What job has the most, they're looking for that person. You'll always have a job.
In demand.
Dental. Callie is a registered dental
Assistant. Yeah.
I am a licensed insurance agent. Why did I pick insurance? Because by the law, you must have insurance. Everybody always has to have it.
Yeah.
I'll always have a job or an income. Plan B. It wasn't that hard. Mine didn't cost anything. I just bootlegged everything off the internet and then I just went and took the test. So the thing is this. I told them, you need, if you are worried, if you sit down and you figure out what you're worried about and overwhelmed by, and the safety of your children is one of them, or always having a roof over their head, then you need to take those steps and make that goal and accomplish it.
Okay.
Small steps, right? Okay, now I'll get off of this, but I'll tell you this. If you do not have a whole life insurance policy on Mia, you are doing yourself and her a disservice. Let me tell you why. I'll tell you quickly. See, I could have sold insurance.
Listen.
I really believe in it. So whole life insurance is a policy you own. It's like a savings account. It's interest bearing, just like a savings account, but you have the extra benefit of also having a payout if something happens.
Mm-hmm.
When you insure your child, you make them insurable for the rest of their life. They don't have to take physical. If something goes sideways, they get muscular dystrophy, knock on wood, but companies cannot refuse to insure them once they've been insured. A policy on a baby, $5 a month. $5. That policy is interest bearing. So if you get a policy for $5 and it's a $5,000 payout, if you put 20 in, 15 of it is savings and interest bearing.
For her later. Down payment on
And
a house.
when she is going to
quinceañeras.
college, when she's going to college, she can cash that
16s.
whole policy out if she wants
Car.
to. She can take a loan against it.
College.
I hear everything you're saying. I really, really do. And I'm not saying that I won't consider it. I just feel like I'm preparing for my daughter's demise. And I know that's not what you're saying.
Change your
ridiculous.
But
mindset
my
about that. You
God,
guys look at it like
sounds-
I'm saving
greatest
for my
gift.
I
daughter.
know. I understand. It's really sound financially from what you're telling me. But it just seems
If
like
you have a life insurance policy, just add her to it.
Yeah.
And stop getting off of the morbidity
Bipolar term.
of this. You put it on your policy. The greatest gift you'll ever give your child is insurability. I'm telling you, you think not, but it is. They are insured, and they have a savings account, which is a /savings account. I mean, life insurance policy. Anyway, I'll get off of this, but if you need a life insurance policy, I'm still licensed. It's a great gift. It's a great gift, and it's protecting your child, giving them insurability, but also it's a college fund, it's a car fund, it's whatever you want.
Down
it to
payment
be.
on a house.
Why would you put and no offense to banks everywhere, but why would you put your money in a savings account and just draw interest when you could get the same interest and
Right.
also have a life insurance policy?
Two
It
birds,
makes
one
no sense.
stone.
There's no morbidity. There's nothing in that is wrong. It's all right. It's good. It's being a good parent. Now, the funny part of the story is, well, I talked for 2 hours. There's a lot of good things. Living intentionally is being the master of your own destiny.
yes.
Yes.
It's not being lazy about your life.
Yeah.
It's not just letting
existing.
life go where it goes and willy-nilly. I like to say willy-nilly. Hard to work that in.
Anywho.
Yeah. Anywho, don't be willy-nilly. Ain't got that ring. Anyway, so the thing is, if you live intentionally, what it is intentional living is making your own choices before your choices are made for you.
Agreed.
Ooh.
Agreed. So, this is funny. I don't know if it made our episodes because we have, again, the 2 lost episodes.
2 lost episodes.
But we were talking about, goals for our lives, goals for the year,
Yes.
all those things. And one thing that I try to impress upon people if I'm talking about it, and we're talking about goal setting specifically, is you have a goal written down, like an end destination, if you will. In 5 years, I want to own my own home. In 2 years, by the end of the year, I want to be weigh X amount, or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
My question is always, what are you doing today to actually get there?
Yeah, because
Because if you're not doing anything today to get there, then this is not a goal. It's
it's
a
just
wish.
an idea.
It's a
yeah.
wish. Like,
That's why,
There's-
Israel,
yep.
you must not only set goals, but develop strategies.
Yes.
Yes.
If you have goals without strategies, one does not work without the other.
Correct.
Right.
Now, when I was the director of sales for the radio stations, the sellers would never understand the difference between a strategy and a goal.
Okay.
A strategy is an action plan to the goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a plan.
Yeah. Your steps.
If you have a strategy but no goal, why the
Just
hell you
an
have a
idea.
strategy?
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
it,
What's that
yeah.
good for? Although I just like to say
That would be
strategy.
nice
Makes
one
you
day.
sound so smart. Anyway, you have to have a strategy, Callie Hoffman.
Oh my gosh, I have so many strategies. You're
That's
asking
wrong.
the wrong person.
So within your intentional living, and you set your goals, you develop your strategies to reach your goals, but they have to be fluid.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
because
realistic
goals-
too.
well,
Yes,
know.
but challenging.
Yeah.
Again, the idea of a goal is that it should actually push you to go
Exactly.
and be beyond
Okay.
what you are now.
Here's the thing, Israel. If you have a goal to own your home, then you have to put a time frame to it.
Yes.
And then maybe the next goal is to not just own your home, but to
Pay it
own
off.
multiple
Yeah.
or rental properties
Yes.
or make real estate
Growth.
investments.
It's growth.
The thing is that you have to live your life with purpose and set goals and strategies to achieve goals, or you're just wandering around aimlessly.
You know, what's interesting is that, when we talk about goals, we often talk about them in a materialistic sense. And that's not what the case is. When we talk about intentional living, right? We're not talking about, I want to be better off in 5 years. No, it could be, I want to become more personable by the end of the year. So what does that mean for you? That means that I'm going to talk to more strangers.
I'm going to learn a second language.
I'm going to go to a venue. I'm going to go to a venue I haven't been before and try to understand the culture.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I don't know, do an activity that I feel is outside my wheelhouse because I'm going to meet new people.
Exactly.
Something.
Yeah.
You push yourself to do something that's beyond what you consider normal because you're trying to reach that goal. And it doesn't have to be financially motivated.
No,
exactly.
And in fact,
Bettering yourself.
Motivated.
The only reason I was talking to Najib about financial stuff is because we got on the Uber thing, and but it's when I first started this whole intentional living, it wasn't even materialistic at all. I had to work in more columns, more silos, because it was about my children. So when I was growing up, we were poor, as I've mentioned before, but I love that because it made me a hard worker, and it made me appreciate the better things in life once I was able to achieve them.
Yeah.
But before we started kindergarten, my brothers and I, we knew how to spell our name, our address, our phone number, and we knew addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication.
Before kindergarten?
Before kindergarten, up to 6 times.
Oh, wow.
All of us.
Get out.
Now, that silo was my father, believing that education was important, information is power, and that he was going to give that to, that was his strategy under
His
that
purpose.
column,
Yeah.
right? We also had to read aloud for an hour every night after dinner. We would take turns. We'd pass the book around. It was the Bible, it was Shakespeare's, whatever. And we always had to read aloud. And if we had friends over, they had to read aloud too, And we hated it, really, except me.
Yeah.
I loved it. But he would not budge. I mean, we would beg.
That was a thing.
We would beg. Our friends would beg. We would go to the bonfire, the football game, and he'd be like, that sounds fun. After you read.
After you do your choice.
Now, I attribute me being a great DJ to that. No
That's
fear.
true.
And I could ace oral book reports
Yes.
because I had no fear of public speaking. But
Yeah.
also being able to talk is one thing. Being able to read in front of people is different.
And you lose it if you don't do it
It's just,
often.
Honestly, what it helps you do is it helps you articulate your thoughts. That's
Right.
all it is. It helps you be a better communicator. Helps you be understood better. Helps you understand others better.
So under the silos that my parents had, they're much different silos than what I had.
Yeah.
But my mother's was nutrition and health and cleanliness, teaching. So interestingly enough, like you talked about earlier with your mother,
Yeah.
parents inadvertently or purposely teach their children things.
Yes.
Clean your room, do your chores, blah,
Make
blah,
your
blah.
bed.
Yep.
Eat right, brush your teeth. Personal hygiene's a big one.
Just saying.
There's, quite a few people who didn't have parents with that silo, and that's unfortunate.
It's okay. You could still learn out there. If you're out there, you could still learn. Please,
Yes,
and please do so.
It's all baby
It
steps.
could be their goal.
It can be your goal.
It has
and
a
there's
purpose behind it.
There's nothing wrong with that. Being a better person with your health, with your parents, with your finances, with how you raise your family, how you interact with strangers. Those are all silos. That is an intentional life.
Yes.
Living intentionally.
Yes.
I've decided, and it's my choice.
And it gives you motivation to keep going.
And
you
it's
know?
not
like
me.
I have something to live
It's not
for.
me
Something
saying,
to look forward to.
oh my God, PG&E's due, phone's due. I don't have the money, scrambling around, borrowing it, because that is a tough way to live. Now, I've been there, and I've been there not that long ago. But,
You were in college.
you'll... the thing is, you want to do that for you, but then you want to do that for your children, and you want to teach them how to live intentionally. That's all I was telling Najib. Poor Najib, 2.5 hours.
I believe it. So the one thing I will say about living intentionally and it's not even just that, it's about that topic. It's kind of about life in general, but my dad says this all the time, and it's very, very simple, right? He says, there's good news and there's bad news.
Okay.
You are here in this point in your life, wherever that is, because of the decisions that you have made in your life. That's the bad news. The good news is that because they are your choices, you can change them.
Exactly.
Right? So when you think about living intentionally, one thing that I know people you feel overwhelmed in your life. You feel like I know I got here. I don't feel like it's like climbing an unscalable mountain, right? At some point you realize, you know what? It's just one better decision at a time.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
One
Yeah.
better decision
It's
at a
a
time.
brand new day.
And did you think about that decision before you made it? You know, because some people will
And that's all. Intentional
make
living,
it and not think. Yeah.
To that intentional living is
And
just
then, like, what
thinking about your
happened?
choices before you make them.
Now that reminds me to shout out to Javi and Dust in the
Love you guys.
Yes.
One of the
Javi
days-
and
Our audio
Dustin.
Tuesdays
camera
you'll be in front of
guys.
the camera and I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Producers.
Do we love these guys?
Yes,
we do. Now, we sent some baby pics and some old pics
Oh,
and some
yes.
pic pics. And
oh, that's
so
right.
I'm hoping that these guys will. Now, I didn't send baby pics because, quite frankly, cameras had not been invented when I was young. They didn't have cameras to take pictures of the caves. So, we definitely didn't have phones. I'm just kidding. I just don't have any baby pictures, but I have a lot of DJ pictures and stuff. So that you can get to know us.
Yes.
Because we're friends and we're not strangers.
Social media
so
posts
it's,
coming
it's
soon.
right to share pictures of sorts. Now, quickly, moment test.
Moment test.
I chose that moment to talk to Najib because it helped. It was awesome for me, and he thanked me profusely.
Okay.
I taught him about eating the frog.
Mm-hmm.
Does not translate in other languages, as it turns out. I love this guy. I wish you the best, Najib and little Benny.
Yeah.
So when I started this whole journey of writing a book, well, I didn't start writing the book, but I started by taking myself out of the starring role in the movie
Okay.
and seeing the world from somebody else. I was just a
Putting
supporting
yourself in someone else's shoes.
Right, I was supporting character in the movie
Yeah.
instead of the main character, right?
Yeah.
And I mentioned to you guys that there's only a handful of stories where I'm not actually interacting and talking to the people who impacted my life.
Okay.
This is one of those stories. So I used to love to remember how I told you that quote about if you get being positive about life is getting up 1 hour earlier so you can enjoy life 1 hour longer.
Yes.
So I used to get up earlier because I like to go leisurely through the old neighborhoods and drive down the streets, especially when it was early summer or spring, because the lights coming through those trees,
The trees,
and
Yeah.
the leaves.
The old growth, yeah.
And the yards were immaculate and there's flowers and I just loved it. And
Okay.
so I would leave early and go down these streets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They might have thought something like, maybe they were like, what
this
is that
car
person driving down our street
neighborhood
again?
watch is
Anyway.
going on?
Right?
You know.
So I pulled over because I had a lot of time that day, and I had my windows down. I was just enjoying life, and I all of a sudden saw this little girl. Now, mind you, remember the radio station is very close to a school, so I was just down the road from that, and this little girl whizzes by on her bicycle, and I'm like, hey, she had a little pink shirt, little. Pink and green shorts that went down to her knees and a ponytail.
Okay.
Her hair was red, which I loved. And she had a blue bike helmet,
How fun.
right? And so she's riding her bike toward the school. And I said, "Aw, that is the epitome of an almost summer day, summer vacation." And then she gets a couple of houses down or whatever to the corner. She stops. And she gets off her bike and she stands there holding her bike looking down the block. So I say, huh. And I turn my head and coming behind her is a little boy, also on a bike, also wearing a blue helmet, which makes me think they might have got a buy one, get one thing. Anyway, he had a little khaki shorts and a little button-up shirt and adorable, but he was small. And so you could think she was probably about 8-ish. Right? He was probably 5.
Okay.
And she's at the corner, and she's standing there. And you could kind of, siblings. You're like, can you just hurry
Hurry
up?
up. Yeah.
Yes.
And this kid is, like when I was growing up, I had the girl bike. My brothers had paper route bikes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Paper route bikes.
I've never heard them called that.
Okay, they're like beachcomber bikes. They're like,
Yes.
good bikes, like
Sturdy.
paddle normally.
Yes.
Yes.
Not me. I had a little girl bike with a basket, and I had to pedal like the Wicked Witch of the East, because it was like 500 pedals to their one, and it annoyed me. But they're always yelling at me because I was behind them.
Yeah.
And it hurt my feelings and made me mad and all of those things. And if you're going someplace fun, it just sucks to have that, the whole time. Hurry up, you're so fat. Anyway, so I was thinking, oh man, please don't yell at your brother. He's trying. I'm thinking this in my head. But I'm breathing. I know she's going to yell at him because that's how it
goes. Yeah.
The little boy gets up to her and she reaches over and pats him on the, she says, good job. You're going much faster today. I mean, just so.
Wow.
And I said, wow. She passed that moment test brilliantly.
Yep.
She could have been awful, but she wasn't. Okay, so I had to, in these stories, I have to be like kind of stealthy in moving the car so I can continue the story. I'm looking at the flowers. Anyway, so she takes off and getting closer to the school, and the little brother falls behind. Okay, 2 more times this happens. However, the second time, I thought this is the time.
Yeah.
Because she's worked up a sweat.
Yeah.
He's kind of crying a little bit already. He gets up there and she says, I know it's hard. You can do it. I believe in you. I mean, I'm like, wow, this girl is awesome. Now, you can tell she's one of those girls, though, that doesn't want to be late for school.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can tell.
She's on it.
Because she's looking at school. She's like this, looking at school, looking at brother, looking at school, because she doesn't want to be late. And so the third time happens, and the school bell rings, and you can hear it.
Yes.
And there's nothing like a school bell to put the fear of God in you. It is powerful. It'll make you sweat. It'll make you cold. It'll make you sick. You know what I mean? A school bell is a powerful thing. I don't even hear him
anymore working at the school.
Yeah. So the bell rang, and her face changed, and she had 5 minutes to get to. Once the bell rings, you got a certain amount of time, and her brother was still down the block. Now this is their time, and I said, "Man, you've done a great job, but there's no way.
Yeah,
there's no because she was like, and it's only 5 minutes. Clock's ticking, pal." And the little boy, he pulls up, and she says, "Okay, I know you think we're going to be late for school, but we're not. We can still make it.
Yeah.
It's okay." And she fixes his helmet, and then she gives him the double pat. Now, I don't know about you, but the double pat. The double pat, man, you might get a pat. I always tell this to people who hug me that I love.
Yeah.
Give me the double pat. I always give everybody a double pat. Double pat means that you really love them. Double pat. She gives him the double pat. And I said, 3-moment test, and she passed every single one of them. Now, if it were me, would I have done the same? Would I have been able to pass all 3? I'll tell you right now, the answer's no. I would not. At that age, I would not.
Not at that age, for sure.
At that age, I would have been yelling at that brother. Because that's what kids do.
Right.
This girl was remarkable, and it taught me that life doesn't just happen. There are moments built into every day moments where we can do the right thing. We can be kind or we can be mean. A stranger who could be our friend wanders into our path, and we can say something or we can let them go. It's a moment test. If you build your life around the ideology that our days are filled with moments, and not every moment is a test, but within those moments there are clear tests. If you keep your mind open to them, would you pass them? Would you take the high road? Would you be the better person? Would you be honest? If there's some money, what I mean? There are moments that test us. God builds that into our day to build our character.
Yeah.
God always has a plan. And before we even do what we do, he knew that little girl was going to do what she did before she even did it.
Yeah.
I was surprised, but he wasn't. Do we have free will? Absolutely. But, it is who we become ultimately and who we maintain or grow after we've evolved into great people. Can you be better? Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the moment test. was a moment.
This might be
in
a
my
good
life.
challenge for the week.
Oh, I know, I'm fully there, but and I want to speak to that too. But one thing about it's life, right? There is no finish line. There's no one ever arrives, right?
Wait, did you just whisper that? Finish line.
I don't know. Did it sound like a whisper? I'm sorry.
They never talk lightly.
We never do.
The one and only. We got it on camera,
We
people.
never do.
Look at Kelly raising her voice.
There we go.
We are rubbing off on
It's
her.
already a weird one. No, but there is no
Finish line.
There's no finish line. There's no I've arrived moment in life, right? It is you constantly live. You constantly, hopefully, try to get better.
It's not
You
like the
constantly
Olympics.
evolve.
There's no podium.
There's no exactly.
You don't get that medal for
Exactly.
doing the right thing or being a good person.
But yeah, so we're always changing. We're always evolving. We're always just moving forward. Theoretically, right? We're always just moving forward.
Forward
Yeah.
momentum. That's why I don't do U-turns.
No, you hit on star. You do U-turns. I hope. But yes, so I guess on that front, yeah, I think that when you talk about those moments in your life, it's a collection of decisions, and you could always choose to take the high road. And I think that that's what you're probably getting to on that front.
Yeah. Maybe with the challenge is stopping and taking the high road, or I don't know. How would you phrase it?
But it is this, I think maybe, Israel, you can weigh in too, Callie. Identify a moment.
Your moment test.
Identify a moment and
Hopefully not after it's passed.
right.
Hopefully not after it's
identify
passed.
in the moment
Yeah.
that you are living a moment and you have a choice.
And your moment test could be any time of any day. Maybe your moment is I want to
there's-
create my strategy, my list of goals, my
Listen.
purpose for
Yeah.
life,
My-
and I can do that right now.
Yeah.
I have
Right
missed
now.
so many moments and so many days just because, well, I'm hard of hearing for one thing. If the moment comes knocking, I don't know, unless the dogs bark. But I digress. But what I'm trying to say is this: you can live your life with intention, and you can identify moments, and you can do the right thing, and you can grow and be a great person, or you can live a life of regret. Somebody in the court case asked me, "What are you live with regrets?" I think I mentioned it. I'm
Don't we all?
63. I have
Yeah.
regrets, but it's not the regrets you think.
Yeah.
I have the regrets of people I've hurt or wrong decisions I've made. When I was given the opportunity to take the high road, do the right thing, be honest, I didn't take it.
Yeah.
I did the opposite. I don't regret mistakes. I embrace them. I embrace mistakes. I regret hurting people because of my mistakes.
Yeah.
It's different. I regret hurting my parents. Anytime I was disrespectful,
Yeah.
a little smart ass, a little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I regret that. But I don't regret mistakes because if I had not made mistakes,
Yeah.
I would not be the person I am today.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if the person I am today is a piece of crap and I'm just regretting the person I am today, shut up, Hobby. I see.
Well, that's your moment test then. You know?
Hobby's nodding, but it
Yeah,
wasn't for
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Thank God for him. I'm just kidding, Hobby. But if the person I was today was not a good person or a person I wasn't proud of or liked, then immediately I would start building my silos again. Building my intentional living silos.
Yeah.
Because I missed the opportunities to grow and evolve and be a better person
Yeah.
already. But there's still time, right?
There's always time. There's always time.
Yeah.
Okay, so the challenge is
I think
identify a moment.
I think identify a moment.
Moment
I
test.
like identify a moment.
Yeah.
Again, ideally, we could take it in steps. You want to identify the moment for sure.
Okay.
And if you can identify the moment, take the high road.
Yeah.
Do the right thing.
Just take the high road.
Yes.
And it's so simple, right? It's very, very simple. It doesn't have to be this grand, the light shines down and it's like, oh my God, this is the moment.
Yep.
It could be I'm talking to my 3-year-old daughter
Yes.
and she is irritating me because she's being 3. And I could choose to let that frustration show in my voice, or I could say,
Yep. And do the double tap.
daughter of mine, it's okay.
Now, when she gets a little older, you can come right out and say, "You're irritating me," but what's Daddy doing? Being patient.
Being patient. It's being patient. It is recognizing your own, frustrations and realizing that it's not necessary. It's
Yeah.
Now, when your
It's
kids
being
get
a-
really old, you
yeah.
can just tell them. You don't even have to explain nothing. You irritate me.
No, you still have your moment.
No,
I'm kidding.
There's
I-
always a moment.
I'm just
especially with
kidding.
kids.
I
there's
never
always
tell
a
my
moment.
kids that.
or your spouse, significant other. It's
Yep.
always it's
Spouse,
like
yeah.
I'm-
Friends.
Coworkers.
I have a friend of mine who says, like,
Strangers.
"Oh, there are a lot of grace chokers in the world." Meaning those people that just choke all the grace out of you.
Yeah.
Like you're just trying
Grace chokers.
You're just
Grace
trying to be.
chokers.
You're giving them patience and love and
Yes.
empathy and all those things, and they're just wringing it out of you because they're not reciprocating it.
I played ball with a team against a team called the Chicken Chokers. Same or no?
No. Chicken heads.
I can't.
Continue.
I
Grace
can't.
Chokers.
Grace chokers.
Although I might name the next team I'm on the Grace Chokers.
God, that's hilarious. But yeah, so again, you encounter those people, and just your moment could just be fortifying yourself and being stronger of will and moving past it. Because
Yeah.
we think of the moment test as like, okay, what am I going to do for others? And honestly, a lot of times
Sure.
that could be what it is. But it's also, how am I going to develop my character to be
Yeah.
the person that I want to be?
Exactly.
Very, very simple.
Exactly.
Listen, everything that you do in this life, if you're living intentionally,
Yep.
things like this with the moment is to benefit others, but greater is to benefit yourself.
Yeah.
Because by taking the high road, by passing the moment test, you will become a better person.
Yes.
It is I'm not even going to say statistically because 100%.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, that if we were going to go with Never Met a Stranger theme and the moment tests, I will tell you that it's a great challenge. I mean, if you can just take the baby step of identifying any moment in this coming week, great, you've passed the challenge. And doing the right thing is the second step. But if you can make that identifying a moment where you have an opportunity to either compliment a stranger,
Yeah.
meet a stranger, reach out, make your circle bigger, make your world circle a little bigger.
Then there you go.
I like it.
Yeah, it can be any. There's no pass or fail. Like it said, there are no Olympic medals. Although I would be a really great person if they were.
And if your
I could
intentions
have
are
a
pure,
finish
people are going
line
to see that.
and they had a medal, and they said, "You are the best person in the world. Come up on the podium." Oh my God, I'd be so good.
Did
I'd
you
be a
catch
good
that
person.
moment test?
I did. I caught it.
I think we should all sing. It's a brand
Oh,
new
no,
day.
we're not singing. But I think that's it for the. I think we're
Yeah,
calling
we're wrapping it.
We're calling it a wrap.
We got a challenge in.
I think we did. All
We
right.
had a
cool.
story.
We digressed 15 times.
We had a lot of
We went
U-turns.
over the river and through the woods.
Saw a purple balloon.
We identified many moments.
Did some
We
U-turns.
discussed the options and benefits of Plan B and insurance.
Yes.
So
Now listen,
Highlighted our business.
you make that sound
Of the
boring.
week.
I'm telling you, these are good tips.
hey, I'm not
You
saying
will
they're
have
not.
a
I'm
better
just
life.
laughing because I'm thinking like, oh my God, if you'd have told me that this is what we were going to be talking about today, I would have laughed.
There's so many moments they
There
do
are.
not get on
You're
camera.
just making fun of me
hanging out
because
with
you don't have
guys.
insurance.
I do, but I'm just like you're passionate about it, so hey, I'll take
Just
it.
going with it.
Listen, the reason I was a good seller is because if I believe it, I can sell it.
All right.
And I believe in this, so I can also sell other things, but we'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
we're not going to. We'll
digress.
put a pin in those. We'll put a pin in those. And
Yeah.
then we're going to say to you all, thank you for being here today. Again, we love you. Again, there's links, like, subscribe, all the things. But
Yes.
most importantly, we'll be back. Don't be a stranger.
Don't be a stranger.
It's a brand new day.